Debt-free versus expense-free. Debt is something that occurs when you take out a car loan, a mortgage, credit card, or college loan. Those are pretty much the main pieces of debt that people take out during the course of their life. What I have discovered in my journey is even when you pay off debt, you will never eliminate expenses. So part of a financial budget is income and expenses. And part of financial freedom is having more income than expenses. Living below your means is having a higher income than expenses. So to live a free life, or to live a life that you have more control over, which as I got into my middle age became a major priority. Because I don't like the feel when other people have control over my life, and when people can hang stuff over your head that you owe them or you need people's help. You know, look, we all need people to give us opportunity. We all need a helping hand at times. So I don't want to preach that, you know, we're all so independent that we never need help along the way. I've gotten help along the way. But as you mature and as you go through life, you realize that you want to try to be as independent as possible. And part of me having this channel is sharing my life and sharing my journey to minimalism, living in my car, and the different journey that I took to get more control of my life, and to be financially free, to try to live my dreams as best I can. You know, part of that is definitely financial independence. Like I said, I think you're going to have to always have an income because you're never expense free. Fixed expenses such as car insurance, gas, and food. Food's your biggest fixed expense because you need it to survive. And certainly you could live on the bare minimum amount of food, which I've done when I got extreme with my weight journey. But in life, you want to enjoy life a little bit too. So you don't want to just spend bare minimum all the time on food. You want to have healthy food, food you enjoy. You want to have enough that, you know. But food, gas, car insurance, health insurance, traveling, entertainment, gym membership, cell phone bill, those are all fixed expenses that you can almost never get rid of. Debt, car loans, mortgages, college loans, etc., you can get rid of. I've gotten to the point in my life where I'm just about 100% debt free. I sold my house. I'm sacrificing. I've been living in my car for 2 years. I've paid off pretty much all my debts except my car loan. I got a 5-year loan at the time to finance my Jeep Renegade. It was a 0 interest loan, so that was attractive. And I pretty much got less than a year to pay it off, and I pretty much have no debt. I would still have expenses. And again, for me to live the way I want, I would like to always, expenses are going to be at least $2,000 a month. So my income has to be above $2,000 per month. That's what it takes for me to live an enjoyable life. And that doesn't even include like major emergencies or saving up or buying a new vehicle. So everyone will have to work their budget differently and what their needs and wants are. But I try to give specifics because I don't like to BS people. And I don't like to tell people you could live so cheap that, you know, you just live in poverty and you enjoy life. But as I sit here, one of the reasons for making this video is to share these things. Because you need to honestly look at your life and you need to examine it. Because only you can really make your life better, and only you can kind of figure out what's wrong with your life and what's not making you as happy as you want to be. Life is never perfect, but it's about living a better life, your best life. So part of that is getting control over your finances. And part of that is becoming debt-free. I said that with a little hesitation because your major thing that you want in life is cash savings, money in a savings account that you don't risk, you don't invest, you have as an emergency fund, minimum $1,000 to $5,000. And then after that, I do believe you'd want a year's worth of savings, a year's worth of expenses in a savings account. So, you know, if you had $2,000 a month that you spent on expenses, you know, you would 2,000 times 12 would give you $24,000 you would need in a savings account. And that's a lot of money, and that takes a long time to save. And so I'm saying all that to say, like, if you decide you want to change vehicles, I've been looking at buying an RV to make my journey on the road a little bit more comfortable, because I live primitive. I've lived out of my car for 2.5 years. I've lived in the winter in New Jersey, freezing with no heat. Lived in the summer in Florida, which I'm living now with no air conditioning. And, I go to the gym for a shower. But it's a primitive, basic life, and I sacrifice to take control over my life, while still maintaining a job and functioning. And so to make my life a little bit easier, I've been examining the possibility of getting an RV. So for me to get an RV, the one I'm looking at, a motorhome, is $50,000 to $60,000. That's a lot of money, and I would take a loan out on it. What I've come to learn is that, the interest is deductible on a loan if you use your motorhome as a primary or secondary residence. But I debate in my mind, is it worth to go back into debt? Because I'm just about out of debt. I'm always going to have expenses. So I want to make that clear that, there's being debt-free, but there's never going to be expense-free. You're always going to need food, gas, insurances, etc. So that being said, I think about that. Do I want to go back into debt? Because there is something to be said about debt. It weighs on your mind. Even if it's just one debt, a little bit of a house. Because even when you pay off your mortgage, you still have expense. You still have property tax, utility bills, maintenance. So again, you're never expense-free, even when you pay off your debts, even when you pay off your mortgage, even when you pay off your car loan, you still have car insurance, gas, and maintenance. So I'm just sharing that to say, I sit here and I debate, do I want to go back into debt? Some of me says, look, Sam, you're never going to be expense-free. So as long as the ratio is living below your means, it's not a bad thing. But you do have to think about the duration of the loan and the appreciation or depreciation of the purchase. Motorhome, boat, cars usually depreciate in value. Land usually appreciates. But there's a lot more entanglement and maintenance to that. So I don't know. The simplest way to be would just continue to live in my car, pay off the car, and, just live a primitive life. Continue. I'm still young enough and healthy enough where I could do it. But, I am starting to feel a little bit of aggravation not having pretty much any comforts other than basic survival. But I'm thankful. I'm not complaining. I just want to share this video and document my thoughts on, I debate every decision I make now because I've worked so hard to get my life together. I worked so hard to build my career. I worked so hard to get out of debt. I worked so hard to lose 200 pounds. I worked so hard, and I'm not perfect. I got breaks along the way. I got help. But I just don't want to go back to having people hold stuff over my head. And debt is a little bit of that. It's a bank, not a family member, and you'd rather be in debt with a bank than a family member. That's my opinion. But I want to share my thoughts on debt, on expenses versus having debt, the difference there, and what I think about and why I don't rush, and I'm honest with myself. Getting control of your finances, I think a big part of it is just being honest with yourself, examining your budget, examining what money is and how it works in your life. And I'll continue to document my journey and share, if I do decide to get a motorhome or something like that. But I wanted to make this video talk about debt and expenses and the thought process on paying off debt versus going into debt. It weighs on your mind a little bit. You think about it. But then you also say you're never going to get rid of all your expenses. So you have to just remember to live below your means, which means you have a higher income than expenses. But you also have to think about your net worth, which means how much assets do you have versus liabilities. In debt, even though the monthly cash flow may be good, you have more income than expenses. If you owe $50,000 in debt and you only have $20,000 in the bank, your net worth is still negative $30,000. So, just make mental notes of that. Of course, you still have the value of the motorhome if you trade it in, whatever it would be. It wouldn't be, but, you always have to have some type of transportation. So, you can't just have nothing. Those are my thoughts. If you like this video, just my thoughts, click the thumbs up button, share the video, subscribe if you're not. I make daily vlogs to document my journey. Leave a comment on your situation with debt and your journey. It's good to share positive people, positive vibes only. If there's negativity, I just block it because You know, part of taking control over my life is I just don't want to be around negative people. I know sometimes I could be negative. I'm not perfect, but I try to stay positive. I do. So peace, love. Catch you in the next video.